Hey guys, good morning. It's Miss Pena, day 3. Happy Wednesday of our digital learning week. I hope things are going well for you. Yesterday it seemed to be better for all of you than Monday was. On Monday we had quite a few technical issues, but it seemed like if I put the videos on the Google link that works better for everybody. Anyway, thank you for being patient, as I'm not a technology guru and I'm kind of learning how to upload things and do all that. But definitely, if you run into any trouble, just email me. I am constantly on the email trying to answer your questions about your work or your homework, or about being able to access files. Just let me know and I will try to help you out the best I can. Please continue gluing your materials into your Unit 9 and 10 section of your notebook. When I see you again, we will pick back up right where we left off, and we probably will be getting ready for a Unit 9 and 10 test. So definitely stay on track, do the lessons every day, stay on your MobyMax. I am monitoring that, and any lessons that I see that are coming up less than 70%, I am reassigning those. I will email you personally and let you know that a lesson has been reassigned for you to get in there and try it again. Okay, so we're going to continue like we normally would with class. And the first thing I want you to do is take out your homework from yesterday, and we're going to check it real quick. I have uploaded the answers on PDF file so that if you want to take your time and go over that more specifically, you can still do that. So yesterday we worked on integer word problems, adding and subtracting. And I had you guys do 2 of these. Question 2 and question 3. So I'll hold it up. You can pause the video here if you'd like and review your work, or you can access the file on PDF from eClass and you can review it there. If you did not get one of these right and you don't understand why, please email me so we can have a conversation about that. Okay? So that was your word problems, and then we also did a little practice with integers, except I threw in some fractions and some decimals, and I want you to check those answers as well. So this one you probably will want to refer to the PDF file because there is a lot of writing on here and it might be hard to see. Again, like we did on Monday night's homework, I did not show the canceling step. For example, look at number 6. Whoops, look at number 6 right here. That positive, that plus 21 and minus 21, those should have been canceled. I did not cancel it so that you would have an easier time reading the work, but you should definitely show the canceling step in your work. Okay, after checking homework, please make any notes of things that you need to ask me, and I expect to see that email tomorrow. If I don't hear from you, I'm just going to go by your MobyMax performance and put in some grades according to that. Okay? All right, guys. So today we're not going to do word problems because we're going to add more complexity to the equations that we worked on Monday and Tuesday. So today is going to be just calculating two-step equations. Once we have the calculations under our belt, then tomorrow we will throw in some word problems so that we can see how we can take real-world problems, develop a two-step equation, and be able to solve it. But before that, I always want to start with the basics. In your attachments for today, you will have this sheet, which is going to be our guided notes. I am actually going to work out the left side of the sheet with you. We will pause at certain times and I will give you time to work on the right side. And we will review our answers just to make sure that you are understanding how to solve these. Notice that there are many types of two-step equations, okay? The first block is the easiest kind, so obviously we're going to start with that. But then you can see we have two-step equations with fractions. And there's two sections, okay? So we're going to go over those today. We're going to practice them together. And then for independent practice / homework, you are going to work on a two-step equation maze, which has the simple kind of two steps, but also the fraction types of two-step equations. Alrighty. So our learning target for today is a fairly simple one because we are starting something new. So I can't start you off at distinguished level. I need to start you off at a basic level so that we can then build upon that. All right, so our learning target today is I can solve two-step equations. And like I just showed you, there are three types of two-step equations. The first kind, the easiest kind, is a linear equation. It looks like that. Now, next year, in 7th grade accelerated, you will have an entire unit on linear functions and linear equations. So getting a handle on this now will set you up for success next year when you continue to work with the linear equations. And then, of course, we have two-step equations with fractions, and then there are two kinds for that. All right. We're not going to start with that just yet because we need to work our way up to it. So go ahead and turn to your notes. We're going to begin with the first problem, 6x minus 4 equals 44. And I'm going to break it down as much as I can. So let's first understand the parts of a linear equation. If this is considered a two-step equation, that means we have to make two calculations in order to arrive at our solution. But before we do that, let's talk about vocabulary so that we can then be able to refer to our equation guiding steps, which you will see they look very familiar to what we did on Monday, except I added one more step, move the constant. So let's talk about where that is. So on your notes sheet, you are going to start working with this, and you're going to label each part of this equation with me. see what you remember from, Unit 4 in Semester 1. So each of these have a name. Okay? So the 6, it is attached to the variable. What is the 6 called? If you don't remember, I want you to go back to your Unit 4 and look at the vocabulary that is in there and determine what is the name for the location of where the 6 is. The 6 is called a coefficient. Okay? The x is called a variable. That goes to the x. That 4 is called a constant. Because it's constantly alone. The constant is never tied up or attached to the variable. The constant is constantly alone. So let's hop over to our equation guiding steps real quick. So when you're solving a two-step equation, you always want to move the constant first. All right, hopefully you've had some time to write down the vocabulary. And we're going to go ahead and move into solving our equation. Because we're working with an equation, let's go ahead and put our equation line. That is going to help us to keep our work organized. So it says that we should move the constant first. So let me check it off. Our constant here, we just discussed, is -4. Now, how do you think that we can move the constant? You're going to use the same skills that we have used all year long. And if you're saying and thinking inverse operation, you are right. So this sign belongs to the 4. We need to do the inverse operation of the sign that belongs to the 4. So the inverse operation of a minus sign would be to add 4 to each side. Of course, we're going to show our canceling step here. Let's calculate that. 44 plus 4, that's going to give us 48. Drop your equal sign. Bring down what you have left. Please be careful. This is a step that a lot of students forget. They might just bring down the x and say, oh, x equals 48. Nope, that x is attached to the 6, so you have to bring both down. So this is 6x equals 48. Now, after moving the constant, hopefully you can notice that you are left with what type of equation is that? That's a one-step equation. At this point, this should be easy peasy for you. Okay? So then we ask ourselves, what's happening to the variable? Well, it's being multiplied by 6. So let's inverse the operation. The inverse of multiplying by 6 is dividing by 6 on both sides. Obviously, 6 divided by 6 reduces, cancels out to 1x, but we don't write the 1. So I'm just going to say x equals. And then 48 divided by 6 is 8. That is our solution. Now, you remember on Monday how I had you guys to check your answers? You can do that with two-step equations. I'm going to do the check part right here. So we have 6. Now, I did find out what x is. X is 8. Bring down or copy down the rest of the original equation. Minus 4 equals 44. Okay, and we're going to solve what's on the left, compare it to the right, and if we have a true statement, if the left side is equal to the right side, then we have a true equation. Okay, 6 times 8 is 48 minus 4. 48 minus 4 is 44. 44 equals 44. Check plus. Okay? So yeah, it's going to take one more step, but honestly, it's really not that complicated, and you guys are super smart. So you should be able to check your work and guarantee that you have a 100% in this unit. So how was that? Let's try a second one. Let's speed it up this time a little bit. So the next one we're going to solve we just did this one. We're going to do the one right below it. 9 plus 5r equals 64. 9 plus 5r equals 64. Okay, so what do we have to do? We have to move the constant first. Well, where's the constant? Is it the 5? No, the 5 is the coefficient. The constant is 9. So how do we move that 9? Well, I'm looking for a sign in front of 9, and there isn't one. So if there is not a sign in front of a number, what are you supposed to assume? You're supposed to assume that that 9 is positive. So if I'm going to move that constant, I have to reverse. I'm working backwards. So I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. 64, take away 9. That's going to be 55 equals 5r. Look at what you did. Once you moved the constant, now you're at a one-step equation. From here on, it's using the same questions, the same steps that I taught you back in like November, I think it was. All right, so what's happening to the variable? It's being multiplied by 5. So we want to reverse that, which means we're going to divide by 5. Divide by 5. R equals 55 divided by 5. That's 11. Okay. What do you think? All right, you guys, what I want you to do is go ahead and pause me right now. And I want you to try on your own these two problems. Once you try these two problems on your own, I want you to go ahead and hit play, and I want you to check your answers with mine. So go ahead and pause, start working, and then check back in. All right, hopefully you've had some time to work, and check, whoops, right there. Check your work. Did you get them? Or did you make a silly mistake? If you made a mistake, go ahead and take the time to correct it, because we're about to move on to the fractions, which are more complicated. Okay, so fractions. Let's start with the easy kind. So we are going to work with these two first, and last we will move to this section. All right. So the problem we're going to work out right now is 4 plus m divided by 3 equals 7. Okay. Step 1 is move the constant. So analyze your equation. Which one is the constant? Remember, the constant is the number that's constantly alone. It is not attached to a variable. You see that 3? It's attached to the variable. That means this is a coefficient and 4 would be the constant. So the 4 has to go. We got to move it. The 4 is positive, so we're going to subtract 4 from each side. Let's cancel. 7, take away 4. We have 3 equals, write whatever you have left, m divided by 3. Again, once you move the constant, that allows you to have a one-step equation. So look at where we're at now. We moved the constant. I'm going to cover what we've completed. And you ask yourself, what's happening to the variable? Variable's here. It's being divided by 3. So then I should multiply by 3, cancel, multiply by 3. That means that m equals 9. So, do you think that we can check our solution in a fraction equation? Oh yeah, we can. And we're about to do that. Here's my check. So I have 4 plus. Now instead of m, I'm going to write what I found out, which is 9 divided by 3. Hopefully it will equal 7. And we solve. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Plus 4 is 7. Does 7 equal 7? Yes, it does. See? You don't have to freak out when you have a fraction. If you know your steps, you repeat the process, it's never going to change. That's the awesome thing about math. Okay? So let's try another one. Okay, this time let's work on this one. The one right underneath the one we just worked out. So this one is 3 plus x divided by 11 equals 7. Equation line. All right, locate your constant first and move it. Your constant is the number that's constantly alone. So that's going to be the 3. It's a positive, so we should subtract it. Those cancel. 7, take away 3, that's 4. 4 equals x divided by 11. Look at that. Now you're at a one-step equation. Easy peasy. Remove the constant, check. What's happening to the variable? It's being divided by 11. check. Inverse the operation. So you're going to have to multiply by 11. Cancel, multiply by 11. X equals 44. And that is the first type of the fractions two-step equations. All right, so we're going to do the same thing that we did previously with the first type of equations. Okay, we've done these two. I want you to go ahead and pause me, work on both of these, and check back in to see if you got the right answers. All right, so the answers to the two that you should have worked out are A equals 14 and H equals 30. Okay, pause if you need to examine your work, and then we'll move on to the last kind, the last type. All right, so here's what's tricky about the last type. We'll start with the first one given, which is b plus 1 divided by 4 equals, b plus 1 divided by 5 equals 4. Now, you noticed how on the previous fractions, look at this, only one number had the fraction. This time, both the variable and this number are both under the fraction. Or sorry, they're both numerators. So what that means is that this is really b divided by 5 plus 1 divided by 5 equals 4. These mean the same thing. But can I be honest with you? Ain't nobody got time to deal with that. So I'm going to show you an easy way where you do not have to expand this in order to work it out. So this has got to go. All right. So we still have to figure out which number is the most alone. The 1, to me, seems attached to the b through addition. With that 5, I can inverse that operation pretty easily and get that 5 moved to my other side. So that's what I'm going to do. If this is being divided by 5, then I can multiply by 5. Cancel, multiply by 5 here. When I calculate that, I get 20. 20 equals b plus 1. Look at what we've done now. b plus 1 equals 20. That is a one-step equation. So from here, find the variable, what's happening to it. It's adding by 1, so let's subtract 1 on each side. Those cancel. B equals 19. Okay. Are we done? No, we're not done. You know why? Because we're going to check it. Here we go. Here's our check. So instead of B, I'm going to write 19 plus 1 divided by 5 equals 4. Okay? So before I can calculate, do you want to do like 19 divided by 5 and then 1 divided by 5 and then put that together? I think not. So let's go ahead and get a numerator number. So our numerator is here. 19 plus 1 is 20. 20 divided by 5 is 4. Does 4 equal 4? You know it. See, it's not that hard. Okay, let's try the second one right underneath. Let's do this one. Let's try the second one underneath the one I just explained, the C minus 4. Okay, we're going to do this one right now. All right, here we go. So we have C minus 4 divided by 4 equals negative 5. You know I had to throw an integer in there. Alrighty. So which number is the most alone? That 4 is kind of tied up with that C. So I'm going to move the dividing by 4 through multiplication. Multiply by 4. Okay, so now you need to use your integer rules. So this is multiplication. So a negative times a positive is going to give us a negative 20. Negative 20 equals, bring down what you have left, C minus 4. C minus 4 equals negative 20. All right, look at your variable. It's being subtracted by 4, so we want to add 4, add 4. Those cancel, C equals, okay, these are, now we're in the subtraction, okay? So this is where we need to go back to our row, row your boat song, right? So are these same sign, add and keep? No, they are different signs, subtract. If I subtract them, I get 16. Different sign, subtract, take the sign of the higher number, then you'll be exact. So C equals negative 16. I want to check this one, especially since we're dealing with some negatives and we haven't really done that too much in the previous examples. So let's try it. So C is negative 16 minus 4 divided by 4 is supposed to equal negative 5. Okay, let's get one number, one value for the numerator. So negative 16 minus 4. Those are same sign, add and keep. So if we add them, we get 20, and we keep the sign. Then we're going to divide by 4, and negative 20 divided by 4 is negative 5, and that's what we have on the left. Both sides are equal. We're amazing. What can I say? All right, pause me. Go ahead and work out these two problems right now. And I'm going to go ahead and flash up the answers to this after you have had some time to work. So go ahead and pause, work on these two, and then hit play back again. And these are going to be the answers to the last two problems, Z equals 23 and Y equals 30. Let me know if you didn't get these or if you don't understand any errors that you made. Okay? All right, guys, so I've walked you through. You've had some time to practice, and now you need to do it completely independently to see if you have really gotten this. So for your independent practice, you're going to move to your two-step equation maze. You are going to start here. There is enough space in this box for you to show all of your steps and all of your work. Now, you guys, your solution is going to guide you to the next problem that you have to solve. Okay? So be careful with your signs. Okay? If your answer is negative, then go with the negative. All right? If it's positive, go with the positive. You got to be careful. You can't do this in a sloppy way. All right, so you will work your way through the maze until you reach the end, and I will share with you the answers tomorrow. All right, have a good afternoon, stay healthy, and stay learning.